Hey friends, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about this 0 degrees conjunction of Neptune and Saturn in Aries. Um, this hasn't happened in over 6,000 years, and I wanted just to talk about this a little bit. It's a pretty intense conversation, so I'm going to try to keep it short. Um, but it is a good reminder to understand that things are moving forward, and things can move forward in a different way. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars and Aries have been going under a huge transformation for the last 8 years. This all started when and this is the way that I read the planets. So let me caveat that. And it all started when Uranus moved into Taurus about 7, 8 years ago. Right now, Uranus is getting ready to move out of Taurus and into Gemini. But during that time, Mars in Aries started going under transformation because at that time, to me, that is when that divine feminine energy really came back on the planet. That is when the Me Too movement came in, and that sort of set the bar. And and honestly, it can't be lower. Now, I know we could look at things and say that what is being shown to us is very low, but it's also it's important to remember that is the past. So even right now, as I'm filming this, Mars is still underneath the rays of the sun. We can't see Mars and we can't see Venus because she's also underneath the rays of the sun. They're so close to the sun right now in their orbit that you can't see either one of them. So this is that idea of they are going through a change, right? This process of alchemy that we can't see. And it's happening with them being in this close proximity to the sun. So that's not only changing, and again, remember Mars rules Aries, so Mars has been changing now for 8 years, or 8 years or so. But it's also this idea that that feminine energy is also changing as well. So fast forward here, and if you guys watch my videos, you do know I talk a lot about patriarchy and this idea of coming out of patriarchy and coming into alignment with our masculine and feminine energies in order for us to be aligned and to move forward. So right here, I do believe we are in this age of Aquarius. Pluto is has moved into Aquarius. Pluto is Scorpio's ancient ruler. No, excuse me. Pluto is Scorpio's modern ruler. Mars was Scorpio's ancient ruler. And I think that's really important to remember that Mars originally was given to Scorpio, and Scorpio's fixed water. And it is this idea of that transmutation, um, that transformation, right? That's the way that fixed water moves. We go there to say, I always say we go there to get baptized, to come again. And it is that energy of water, right, that keeps us moving, that keeps us flowing. But that water of energy also, and I believe all the signs hold, a little bit of the mystery, right? Um, and so um when I talk about the mystery of the water, it is about like moving forward, that nourishment, um, that esotericness, right? Pisces, we're in Pisces season, and Pisces is known as the mystic. Pisces is associated with Christ conscious energy, the idea of the fish, and to me, the idea that the story is Christ died and then became energy, right? He was teaching that idea of rebirth. There is no such thing as death. And when we go to Scorpio in that water, it is that transformation, that transmutation, right? That rebirth, that baptism. When we go into Cancer, Cancer is rules the home, right? And how it wants to make things more beautiful and um, move in that way to initiate the best way to move with water in the home, right? Whether it's our home or our actual home, right? And so here we are in Pisces season, and in Pisces season, we're having this um, initiation, right, in Aries, right? And Aries is a cardinal sign. And cardinal signs initiate. And so it is starting this new time, because this hasn't happened for 6,000 years, starting this new time where Neptune, who rules Pisces, Pisces is dreams, right? Pisces is spirituality. Pisces is part of that water energy and trusting in the unknown and in the unseen, right? That spirituality, if you will. Um, and then we have Saturn. Saturn used to rule Aquarius. Aquarius is ancient ruler. Um, Understanding of boundaries, but now Saturn rules Capricorn. So bringing in that idea of work, um, making things tangible, but also working with the mystery as well, because Saturn is the last planet. So let's say if Saturn's right here, Saturn on this side is all the personal planets, Saturn on that side is all the outer planets, and then, the Milky Way and the universe, right? So Saturn is that boundary. So Saturn can bring in all the things that are out there and understand how to make them tangible. And so we're working with this now in Aries, and Aries is that fire sign. Aries is that I am presence, right? Aries wants to move forward. Aries wants to initiate. And so we're asking to initiate. Um, we're asking to move forward with this energy of boundaries, right? With this energy of spirituality or trust, or understanding that things must end in order for them to move forward. So it is this energy of newness, right? It is this energy of even collaboration and working together because of Saturn being Aquarius's ancient ruler. Aquarius is that energy of the individual, but it's also the energy of the collective, right? Higher Aquarius is understanding how we all work together in harmony. Lower Aquarius is lone wolf syndrome, right? You got to do it by yourself. No one understands you. So be aware of that, as we keep moving through this age of Aquarius. If you are feeling a little lone wolfy, um, which is okay sometimes, but it's also important to find your pack. So, or understand, things do move in packs. Understand you are not alone, right? Energy is energy and it all vibrates together. And we want it to vibrate um, in these higher realms in order to move things forward. And understanding when you are in that I am presence and you are vibrating in that higher realm, it is moving things forward so that you don't have to tangibly put your hands on, right? And that is the mystery of working with water and working with energy, I would say too. But that is that mystery. Even fire, that fire, we can set a fire and it can do things, right? Like we're not literally holding the fire and making it do things. Same with the earth, right? What happens underground? We're not down there underground making that seed grow, right? The earth knows what to do in order to nourish that seed and to make it grow. And so the 0 degrees, this new karmic turning point, this new way of moving forward, I think it really is working with that I am presence and understanding. We don't have to constantly think about how we're going to work or manipulate to make things move forward, right? It is this idea of trust. This Pisces, trust um, in the unknown, in the magic, if you will, in that surrender. These are how I want things to happen, or this feels good within me. How do I work on that with Saturn and Capricorn? Um, And that I am presence is just learning how to embody that, right? Embodying who we are as an aligned person with our masculine and feminine energies working together, that receiving and moving, right? Coming in as one, but it's not necessarily going to look like what we think it looks like. And that gets tricky. And I can just use one little like caveat, I guess, from Mardi Gras that we just got out of. So I was with my friend Heidi and her son Ian was visiting, and I was like, Ian, you got to catch me these beads. We were with the thing, but I believed Ian could do it because he's born and raised here. I feel like he got a little extra mojo, right? He knows what to do, and he goes, "We got to go over there." And where he was saying to go, in my mind was like, I don't. But I was like, I trust this kid. He knows what he's doing. And we went there, and the guy on threw out a whole bunch of beads, and the person in front of him said, "Oh, you want two of these?" And so he got me those beads, right? So in my mind, I was thinking we have to go here. I got to put my hands. The writer's got to see me, all this stuff. But Ian was like, "No, we just go over here." And then it worked out, right? The end result was the end result. It wasn't like how I thought I had to do this, this, and this. But it was this idea that I had to trust that this guy knows what he's doing because, it just felt like he could do it, get it done. And I feel like that's kind of like how we're moving forward. It is this idea of relinquishing a little bit of control, um, right, to initiate this idea that you trust you're going to get the outcome, even though it's not going to come the way you think it's supposed to come, kind of in a nutshell. So let's move forward with this energy, and let's move forward with this energy in a lot of ways. Things that we do not like what's happening on our planet right now. We think, okay, we got to do this, we got to do that, and then that's going to happen, and this is going to happen. And it's not necessarily going to happen that way, right? But if we can get more into that heart space, into that I am presence of understanding, of release, Pisces season release, transmutation, transformation, um, working with that Aries and Mars energy, uh, Saturn bringing in that earth energy, Saturn bringing in that air energy. So we got all the elements represented in the 0 degrees of Aries, which is quite beautiful. And again, it's showing up in ways that we might not think about that, right? We might not remember that um, Mars was Scorpio's ancient ruler, We might forget that, oh, actually, we are in Pisces season, so that's bringing in this water. Neptune rules Pisces. And that's a um, big energy going into fire, right? And it is, again, that alchemical process of water and fire, right? Mars and Venus underneath the rays of the sun. So there's a lot going on here. But if you get anything out of this video, it is this idea of hope and understanding things are moving forward and they're not going to be what they used to be. And if you are feeling a little hopeless or a little down at this time, I hope you understand um, that things are changing. And one of the ways that they're changing is this idea of coming into this higher vibration, which I know seems shitty. If you're like, I don't give a shit about a higher vibration. I want, X, Y, and Z to be happening. I get it, you guys. I really do. I really do. Um, but also you can look for the signs where things are changing, where people are being held accountable, um, where people are talking differently about things than we did, a couple years ago. It's all there, it's all happening, and it's all moving to me in the correct direction. But we also have to remember this is a free will planet. It doesn't mean everyone's going to move the way we want them to move. All right. Um, in this age of Aquarius, it really is about thinking about you and what you believe in and how you want to show up for yourself and how you want to show up for your community, right? Aquarius does like community. Aquarius does understand people are individuals. Aquarius does understand we can get all there's more we have in common than we don't, and those things we can get along on to move humanity forward, right? Um, and it's important to remember that those other sticking points might not be important in order to get the big picture moving to where we need to go, to have more housing equality, more pay equality, people having rights, those things that are really held true to the Aquarian spirit and energy, especially in this time of this Pisces season where we can let go of those things that are holding us back. And in this 0 degree conjunction of Neptune and Saturn and Aries, in this I am presence, initiating this newness, initiating this, how am I going to move forward? How I'm going to show up in alignment. We do have, water and earth, right, are both feminine signs and they're showing up in Aries, which is a masculine sign. So again, that integration of the masculine and feminine moving forward in that higher vibrations of their energies. So good times, friends, good times. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and understand, like, if you're going through the day and you're like, Feel the same as yesterday. That's fine. Okay. Some people may feel different all of a sudden. We still are in the eclipse portal. We have the full moon eclipse that's going to be happening. So the lunar eclipse will be happening on March 3rd. Um, with the full moon, what's the opposite of Pisces, you guys? Mutable, Earth, oh, Virgo. So we'll be having that full moon, that eclipse coming up here. So we're still in that eclipse portal. So this is just the time to really, as always, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling, see what's going away, see what's coming in. You're the fire horse, things moving fast. Um, Wheel of Fortune moving fast. Um, so the best way we can handle this, remember to stay in this middle of the circle. Understand if you're feeling overwhelmed, take that time out. Understand it's okay to say, I need a break. Take that time out. And then when things are moving at a good pace, move with that pace. Just go with the flow. Okay, now I'm going to end this video. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. You can leave comments here, get in touch with me on Instagram or through my website, independentstreettarot.com. Till next time, happy happy karmic turning point and happy 0 degree conjunction of Aries.